Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to draw this ellipse over here. Drawing an ellipse, what I start with is I'm going to draw a center line going across here. And a vertical center line going up over here. Okay, on that center line, I see that I've got a major axis of 120 millimeters. Right, what I do there is I find the center point and I say 120, half of that would be 60. So I mark off on either side of this thing, 60 on that side and 60 on that side. That's the major axis going across there. I've got a minor axis that says that I have got 80 millimeters. So on either side, I must have 40 millimeters on either side of the center. 40 millimeters on that side and 40 millimeters on that side. Right, once I've got that, I'm going to take a line which goes from that point over there to that point over there. I then take my pair of compasses. I set them from that point to that point, from the center to there, and I arc up to this center line over here. I take my pair of compasses to that point. I drag them back to this radius, from there to there, and I arc back onto that line over there. I have 2 points on this line now, A and B. I'm going to just draw that little AB line in very dark, just to highlight it in your heads. All right, line AB. I'm going to bisect line AB. I take my pair of compasses, set them to beyond the center of line AB, and I draw an arc, and I draw an arc. I'm going to draw a line which is going to go down through those intersecting arcs, which is a perpendicular bisector. And I'm going to end up with a point down here, a very important point, and I'm going to call it point P. And I'm going to call this point that cut through this line over here, point Q. Right, once I've got that, I take my pair of compasses and I extend them from point P up to the edge of the minor axis over there, and I draw an arc. Just a construction line arc to start with. I then take my pair of compasses and I place them so that the point goes onto that mark of the minor axis over here, and I make another point up there. So I'm transferring this distance between the minor axis and point P up to over here. So I have another P over there. You can see the distance between the minor axis arc and point P is the same as the distance between the minor axis and point P over there. I then turn my pair of compasses around, still set to the same radius over here. See that same radius? I'm going to take that up to point P, and I'm going to draw another arc going round. Alright, if I've worked accurately, it should be exactly going through the minor axis over there. Right, point Q, I'm going to take my pair of compasses, I'm going to extend them back to the major axis point at point A over there, and I'm going to draw in my arc over there. I then take that same radius, I go across to the major axis point over there, and I make an arc over there. So in other words, what have I done? I've taken that distance from A to Q, and I've transferred it onto this side, so I've not got another point Q over there. Turn my pair of compasses around and draw in that arc over there, completing the ellipse.